Hi, and welcome to East Coast Salon Services Virtual Education on YouTube. My name is Marisa, and I'm a full-time educator at East Coast Salon Services. Today, I'd like to share with you long hair beach wave. We know that we're seeing a lot more texture in hair, and our guests are using a lot of different tools to create it, whether it be a wand or a curling iron or a flat iron. So we want to be able to offer them a service that gives them a permanent beach wave effect. The benefits to your guests is that it could be a wash and wear look for them, or that when they do choose to use a hot tool, they'll have a longer lasting end result because they have a permanent beach wave supporting that hot tool that they've put on their hair. So today I'm going to be using a Vanessa. She is my model for today, so let's welcome Vanessa. And here is Vanessa. So this look that I did is done with 1-inch bendy rods and using the Redken Vector Plus Perm. So it's a really fun and easy way to create an end result for your guests that gives them that wash and wear look if they choose to have that. Very simple, very organic for them. It's beautiful from day one that they get it. So I'm going to move her a little closer so that you can see that beautiful beach wave pattern that she has in her hair. On the other side, again, offering our guests versatility, and they do have these hot tools, and to change it up once in a while, whether it's a night out on the town or a different type of meeting that they're going to, they're just wanting to change it up. On this side, I styled her with the Sam Via 2-in-1 iron and wand, just to give her a different pattern in her hair. The products that I used on her after I was done was the Redken Fashion Waves 07. I sprayed that over the whole head and then I let her air dry. And then on this side, I went in with the Redken Iron Shape 11 to give her heat protection. So thermal protection, because anytime you're using a hot tool, you definitely want to be using some type of heat protection on the hair. So this is the end result. Again, wash and wear, giving her that beautiful beach wave with 10 bendy rods, and then also giving her the option of switching it up when she wants to using one of the hot tools that she has at home. So this is our end result. We will be bringing back Miss Vanessa, the finished result, at the end, just to kind of go over all the different products that we talked about. The first part of that will be the sectioning of the hair. So I sectioned her in 10 sections, and I have one pre-sectioned so you get a really good visual on her. I first started by separating her from ear to ear, so front to back. And then once I separated her from front to back, I separated her sides using her parietal ridge. And then on the top, what I was left on the top, I evenly sectioned them into 4 quadrants. So I have 6 in the front of the head. You'll also notice that I do a zigzag parting, and I do a zigzag parting so that when the final process is done, it just blends a little nicer. It's a personal preference. Then when I move to the back of the head, I use the occipital, again with the zigzag parting as my guideline, and then center back. So giving me 4 equal quadrants in the back. So 4 quadrants in the back. We have the 2 sides, and then we have the 4 on the top. So 10 equal sections here, and this is how we start our wrap in sectioning the hair. Then, put her back, we have a pre-sectioned long hair to Vanessa. We have lots of mannequins to play with so that I can take you through this wrap. So as I mentioned, I used a 1-inch rod, and we have these at East Coast, and this is a 1-inch rod. Unlike traditional perm rods where the colors were very consistent, in the bendy, twisty rods, that's not the case. So you definitely want to order it based on the size of the rod. And we have a lot of different rod sizes to choose from, but today I'll be using the 1-inch rod available at East Coast Salon Services. As I take you through this wrap, I'm going to move myself out. Her hair is very long so that I can show you how the wrap is done. I have already my 1-inch rods, and I'll also be utilizing water and end papers just to guide myself through the process. So let's bring this tray back out here so that I can get her started, and I'm going to move myself out of the way so that way you can see Vanessa getting her hair wrapped here. So in the very first section that I have, I'm going to wrap this away from the face. She's already wet, but I'm going to go ahead and just re-moisten her. And I like to use 2 end papers just to give me control of those ends. Let's move her around a little bit right there. So I put one on the bottom, one on the top, and then I just kind of shimmy the hair right down the end paper right down. Resaturate it if I need to. And this will be wrapped going back. In that first rotation, I lay the hair on top of one another so that it locks those ends in. Okay? And then I just work up the strand of hair. Bend them to keep them in position. Very simple and very easy. On this second one, the one closer to the section from front to back, I'm going to wrap this one forward. And I just change directions just to keep it organic and movement, natural movement in the hair, because you'll see that natural hair always has, it's very organic and has a lot of different movement in it. So I take another 2 strands, another 2 end papers. Slide it down the hair strand. And this will be wrapped towards the face. Again, the first rotation is on top of one another, so I lock those ends in. And then as I move up, just lock the rod in there. On the side, let's move that hair out of the way. I'm going to wrap this going back. So I'm going to resaturate this again. And then I'm going to wrap this again. The first rotation on itself, the first rotation, and then I'm going to move up the rod. I'm wrapping back, and then bending the rod and locking it right in there. We're going to move to the other side of the front. We come across this first strand, or section, and this will be wrapped back again. I'm going to start about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So I have that. Wrap the first rotation on itself. Wrap it away from the face. And then lock that rod right in there. Then I take the next section, sit on the top, and this one will be wrapped towards the face. I'm going to comb that hair. I'm going to move her back, and then I'll move her forward as I'm wrapping. Two end papers, slide down, wrapping under, and let's move her closer so you can see her now. Now this is the other side. Again, this is from the parietal ridge down. Start about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch above. Come in, wrapping up away from the face. just bend the rod. Front's already done. Amazing. It's so quick. Now we have the 4 sections in the back. And in the 4 sections in the back, when I do the back, I like to start on the section underneath the occipital. I just find it easier. That's my little hot tip, to start on the bottom. So I move that top section out. Now on this section in the back of the head, the 2 sections that are below the occipital, let me put this up for you, we're going to be wrapping down. And then the 2 sections on top, I'll be wrapping up. So I'm going to take this section, move her further out again. Slide down that hair so those ends are in there. First rotation is on itself, and then using the length of the rod. Now by using the length of the rod, when I go to saturate her with the solution, it's just going to be easier for me to make sure that I've saturated the whole thing. Let's lay that down a little bit better. Okay, now we go to the next section, and this will be wrapped up. If all that hair was living on one section of the rod, we'd have to really be cautious in how much saturation. We want to evenly saturate the solution on the hair. Combing that all the way down, moving her back out again. So you see the ends here. 2 end papers. And this will be wrapped up. Go to the last sections, last 2 sections. Again, I'm going to pin that above the occipital away. This will be wrapped down and towards. Control of that hair makes the wrap a little easier. Wrapping this one under. Moving up the rod. And we have the very last section. So this is fun for you to wrap. This is fun for the guests because they're not sitting there forever getting the wrap. And these rods are super light on the guest's head, so it doesn't weigh them down. Again, this will be our last section. Make sure you can see that. Wrapping up. And we have, voila, all 10 rods. Let's bring her up close. So the first 2 are wrapped away from the face. The top 2 rods are wrapped towards the face or down. The sides are wrapped away from the face. The 2 nape below the occipital are wrapped down, and the 2 above the occipital are wrapped up. So that gives us 10 rods. Very simple, very fun and easy. Let's move Miss Vanessa out while she goes and processes. And let me give you how this process happens. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I will be using the Redken Vector Plus. And this perm is good for all hair types, from normal to highlighted up to 50%. I treated her as a color client because all of our mannequins are always pre-treated. So I let her process for 15 minutes. After the 15 minutes were up, I rinsed for 5 minutes with warm water, and then I blotted her really well. After I'm done blotting, I put the neutralizer, because that's going to lock the new beach wave pattern into that, and that stays on for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes are up, I rinse with 3 minutes on the rod and then 3 minutes off the rod. So I processed her for a total of 15 minutes. Again, it is the Redken Vector Plus Perm. Put that away, and let's bring Vanessa, our done beautiful model, back up front. So once I bring Vanessa back to my chair, I'm going to have a conversation on how to maintain her hair and the product choices that I'm using to style that at home for her. So in this natural wash and wear end result, my recommendation is going to be the Redken Fashion Waves 07, Redken Fashion Wave 07. You want to shake it, and then you want to mist it all over the head, and use a wide tooth comb to comb that through, and then just scrunch it, you know, using your hands and cupping match, and letting that air dry, or using a diffuser if she chooses to do that. But for ease, air drying. So I did that over the whole head. And then if our guest decides to choose, Miss Vanessa decides to choose to change the pattern using one of her hot tools, again, my recommendation would be to use a thermal protectant. And the thermal protectant I would recommend, we have 2 in Redken, but I'm going to recommend the Iron Shape 11 because it's soft. It doesn't feel crunchy on the hair. I tell her to spray each section as she does her wave, whether it be with the wand or the curling iron or the flat iron. So you're going to spray each section and then put that on the hair, and then we're going to use our hot tool, and then we're going to just run our fingers through it or a wide tooth comb to separate it. And you can, it's very soft. I can run my hands through that even after using the Iron Shape. The tool that I used, like I said, was the Sam Via 2-in-1. If you don't have it, it's an amazing tool. So it's an iron for us behind the chair. I love things that have more than multi-purpose. And then you just hit this little button right here, and it comes apart and it becomes a wand for us. So this is the Sam Via. Let's make sure I get it clicked in there. Then I just click that little button and it lifts right off there. So you have a low setting, a medium setting for color treated, and a high setting. Heats up super fast, does the job each and every time. When I did on Vanessa, many of us use wands, or our guests use wands, is that I took the one section and I took 4 sections in this front, and I just misted it with the Iron Shape 11, and I just took and just did long barrel curl, let it sit for a couple minutes. I didn't even put the ends, and then just released it, let it cool down. That's what I want to tell my guests. Let it cool down, and then just run your hands or a wide tooth comb in there. So we want to give our guests lots of options. They love lots of options, just like we love lots of options. And it's fun and it's easy for them to do. So I'm really glad that you decided to watch this video. If you liked it or you learned something new, please give us a thumbs up. At the bottom of the screen is my email address, mdimperio@eastcoastsalon.com. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about what you saw in this video today, or anything and on any type of beach wave perming that we're doing, or any Redken color. I would love to answer those questions, and also the option of having a Zoom class for you. If you or your staff want to sit in, they can get a mannequin, you can get the products together, and we can go step by step through this process as well. The products that I spoke about, if you have any questions about them, please feel free to reach out to me. The 800 number is our customer service number. You can just go ahead and order it. All the items will be available for you. Or if you have a fabulous East Coast Salon sales consultant, reach out to them and they can place that order for you as well. I've really enjoyed our time together and look forward to our next East Coast Salon Services virtual education. Have an amazing day. Thank you.